Hi everyone, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in. As always, I'm looking forward to having a crafty catch up with you. And today we're going to look at a design that is suitable for mail cards. It's got some lovely autumn colours in, but to be fair, you could use any colours you wish. But I have been asked recently for designs that are more suitable for our male friends, and this is what I've come up with. And also, I know you're liking the fact that I'm doing some cards that aren't square. Sorry, excuse me, because I know some of you, it costs more to post square cards. And the other thing we're looking at is a smaller size of card. So this is a B7 size. And I know you're going to ask me what it is in inches. And that's 3.5 inches by just a smidge under 5. And it's a lovely size to work on. And I do find it amazing that, look, all that there fits on there. It's a bit of twickery, a bit of magic, I think. So I'm going to start with my stamping. And I've gone for our lovely Rufus. And if you're not sure where to put him, and if you're one of our lovely new friends and followers, just use your acetate, look. It gives you a really good guide. And I'm going to do my stamping today in the Nocturne. I'm sticking to the black. So again, if you're new and you haven't got many different colours of ink, that's something else that I've been asked for. If you have got lots of colours of your Versafine Clair, I think this will look lovely in pine cone. Maybe the bit of portobello. But you could also make this a monochromatic design. If you're thinking monochromatic, I think it would work well. So I'm just going to position Rufus and stamp him about there. Now he is a silhouette. Now again, I'm thinking if you're joining in with our lovely challenges on our Lavinia for You and Reach Out with Lavinia Facebook groups, we have Tag Tuesday, Favourite on a Friday, and we give you a theme each week, and also Silhouette Sunday. So this would be brilliant for Silhouette Sunday. Now, because he's a silhouette, I'm just letting all that ink soak in. And there we go. It just stamps. Look at the detail. Stamps beautifully. So next to the oak leaf branch. Now, you know, when I was stamping this, originally I thought, oh, I'll just hang it down. It would actually make a fabulous tree, you know. Look, if you stamped it that way, it could just be a tree on its own. Imagine that if you needed a sympathy card. You could actually make that moon behind just one colour. But using the acetate, I looked and I thought I prefer that. That shape works well. So it really is good to keep using that acetate. Now remember, we've got all our other stamps as well, our smaller stamps, our minis. So you can build up trees like this. As I say, you can also swap the colour of the ink. So I'm going to stamp this sort of coming across there. And again, it's a nice big stamp. There we go. Now you could hang extra things. If you wanted to make this a little bit more Christmassy, we've got our Christmas charms, we've got fairy charms, we've got various foliage stamps that you could add and make this almost for another time of year. Give that a blot. Remember, it's a slow drying ink, your Versafine Clair. But I'm giving it a blot because I'm going to come in and do the landscape next. She says, not taking all that copy of paper away. And I'm going to come in first with Sahara. I've been using this so much recently. It really is one of my favourite colours. And as always, I'm just going to turn the design upside down. Get my Sahara brush. And dip in the ink. And then blend in the lid. See, look at all that lovely colour. If I'd have gone straight on, that would have been too much. So blend it. And then extra dab. And then just start at the base and blend that colour round. Go all the way round. Just move your finger. And keep working that colour, keep blending it. Turn it round, look. And there's got plenty on there. I can pick some up from my mat, look. And I'm just going to blend around Rufus. Lovely. Now, the next colour is Truffle, but I'm just going to clean this bit of Sahara up first, just to keep those good housekeeping practices, just so I don't contaminate my inks, really, and my brushes. And so what I'm going to do now is bring in the mini hill masks. I can't speak. And we've done this sort of thing before. I find it easier to turn it on the side, look, and we'll go for the flatter one first. And we'll just give Rufus something to sit on. Now with him, I tend to put it sort of right under his bottom, so a little bit of his brush here. And again, just going to put the colour underneath. Now we will be adding some shading later, so don't worry too much. And if your blending isn't perfect with the Sahara, don't worry, because you're adding more ink to it. And honestly, when the design's finished, often, you know, I say in workshops, sometimes when you're actually creating a design, it won't look its best until it's finished. And then next, I'm going to look for one of my hills. And what looks nice is you see the shape of the moon there. If we can mirror that here, but I don't want to do that and cut his neck off. That doesn't look right. I sort of want it, if I can get it over his head. And can you see we've got that shape there? So I'm happy with that. Now, I don't want much ink on this. In fact, I'm not going to add any more. I'll see if there's enough left on my brush. If not, I can add a little bit more. So if we hold this, lift it up, well, that's nice. Just a tiny touch more, but I don't want much. So it's very gently, just hold the brush nice and gentle. Right, let's have a look at this. Yeah, I think that's going to be. And you see that? I think that's just the right amount of colour. So I'll give this a wipe before we put it away. Again, it's all about keeping in those good practices. Just give my moon mask a wipe. And we've finished with the Sahara and the Truffle. So now we're coming in big guns time, and it's the midnight blue. And I'm going to introduce this on the corners. Bit of kitchen roll just for my hands, in case I've got ink on my hands. And I love the colour that this midnight blue and the brown make together. Once I'm happy on the corner, look, I can just little bit of colour up the side. I think I'm getting ready for my Halloween mates, because I think there's something almost Halloween about these colours. Sort of magical, and could be a misty night. But do you see, I just love the tones that you get. So we'll move it round. Again, on the corner first, and when I'm happy, down the side. On this one, again, on the corner. And then circular motions, just if you get lines on that corner and you're not keen on them, don't add any more ink, but just gently add a couple of circular motions and you'll blend the ink that's there and almost get a better shape. So again, I can add a little bit down here. Now, I just want to darken those corners a little bit more. So I'm just coming straight in from the ink pad, look. I want them all even. But I have said before, you need to stop. Before now, I've gone to make them even, then I go round again, and I'm literally just constantly going round all four. So there has to come a point when you go, right, stop. And we'll give this a bit of a wipe. Now, you could smoosh that and give yourself a a background in your journal. I'm just going to clean it up today, just so we can get on with the next little bits. And I'm going to add a little bit more stamping. And I've left it till now because I wanted to see the shape, and then I can decide where to have my stamping. And I'm coming in with the Bulrushes. I wanted something that had a little bit of a silhouette feature but was sort of open, and the Bulrushes are perfect for this. And I find them a lovely stamp for a man's card. So I'm sticking with the black, and I'm just going to put one here. And then just the hint on this side, just coming in, and I'm going to leave it at that. But I am going to add a lovely verse, and this is called Seasons Change. And as always, look, on the back I've put an arrow, just so that I know I'm going to stamp it the right way up. And for this, I'm coming in with Sand Dune, or Sandra Dune as we're calling her. And for the first one, I'm going to stamp it right across the top. Now, if you're not sure how the colour's looking, do remember, test it on your copy of paper first. You don't want to stamp it. If it's too dark, stamp some off and go for second generation. I'm happy with this colour, so I'm actually going to stamp it 3 times at the top, look. And then I'm going to come in and just stamp down this side. Little bit more there, and almost just shape round our lovely Rufus. And then at the bottom, I'm going to go, and that's where the arrow comes in, so I know I'm stamping the correct way. Before now, I would have stamped upside down. And then this side will have a little bit more, even if it just catches, look, the letter, it's so nice, it frames him. So we're almost framing with a sentiment. And if you've not done that before, look, I think it's a lovely thing to do. So we'll give this a blot as well. I don't like picking that piece up today, do I? And then what we're going to do is add some of our lovely pastel pencils. And what we'll do is we'll add some shading first. So under Rufus, we'll just add a little bit of brown. And again, with the moonlight being there, the shadow will be this way. So I'm going to come in with the black as well. And then I'm just going to smudge that to make a nice shadow right across there. And then with the white, we'll just come in and add a couple of highlights. And again, I'm just tending to smudge this with my finger. And I'm just going to give him a little bit more shape, sort of the light's going to catch where that hind leg is. And then here, just a couple of little highlights. But on his brush, we'll add some more, just to almost make it look nice and lovely bushy tail. And I'm just smudging them depending on how bright I want them. Just going to add a couple on the Bulrushes as well. And on the leaves. And again, it's up to you how much. If you want to add some more with your white gel pen, you know, if you wanted to come in and just add a little bit more. Let me just, sometimes my gel pen, there we go. I need to scribble on the back. If ever you have a piece of my artwork, you'll always see I've scribbled on the back. And just a little bit on there, I'm just thinking, if it just catches on his nose. And I like to add both. I think it just gives it a nice effect if you've got the little, just tiny bits of white and then the pastel as well. The two together work really well. What you can also do is, because foxes, you get fox red, if you want to, you can add a little bit of red pastel just to the haunches look and a little bit on his tail. And I'm not adding too much, and I'm just going to come in. This is a biodegradable cotton bud. You can use your finger if you wish. And I'm just going to blend that in. And it's just going to give me the idea that he's got a little bit of red in him. Now, if you wanted, you could add some red into the leaves and bring the whole thing in. I just wanted to make him look like he was a bit more, and it just catches in that light. So the other thing I want to do is add a little bit of the faux bleaching in the background. So just with my fan brush, which is in my water pot, and I'm just going to add. Now, I've left the moon mask off because I don't mind if they go over the moon. But if you want to just protect the moon, pop that mask back on. I'm just going to add a few round here. And while that's drying, I'll just put the lid on my pastel pencils. Again, keep everything in order. And then what we'll do, you can wait for yours to dry. I'll just dab mine with my kitchen roll, just so you can see. And if I bring that a little bit closer, can you see that lovely faux bleaching? And I love the colours here, look. And I think that is just such a lovely little card. Now, if I bring in the original, I think I've gone a little bit darker with my colours. But it's nice because I could say I've done it on purpose, you know, but I haven't. Just to show you, this one's quite pale, but this one I've gone a little bit darker with the Sahara. Now, the warm one probably shows up better on the camera. So depending which you fancy creating. But you could change the colours even more, couldn't you? And on my finished one, I've added one of our lovely sentiment stickers, and I've just put adventure because I think Rufus is looking up and he's planning his next adventure. And what will your next adventure be? I hope I will be along with you for the ride, because do you know what? I'm really pleased that you come on my craft adventure with me. So I'm off now. Time to walk Eric. He's still struggling with his back legs a bit, I'm afraid. So we have to go out earlier so we can take it slower. For him, not me. Although I'm feeling my age myself at the minute. Anyway, have a lovely time, everybody. Be kind to each other. Love and hugs from me. And I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.